Greetings! I'm over here at Rocky Point State Park. This is a 120-acre state park located in Warwick, Rhode Island. It's the site of an abandoned amusement park that I guess was decommissioned in the early 90s. It was in operation for over 100 years. So a lot of people showed up, and there's still some abandoned rides here. So let's go check them out. Come join me and I'll give you some history. So I'm currently walking down the main entrance. This is where the park originally was open for the park goers to come in and begin riding the rides. The park, I guess, was originally set up in 1847 by this guy named William Winslow. He was a steamboat operator that purchased the property from an earlier owner. And he, I guess, built some rides, like little amusement park stuff for the elite to come and spend their summers. There was a restaurant here. And it exchanged hands. It was ended up purchasing by somebody else after that. I don't know who that was, but they made it into a full-fledged amusement park, which was in operation for up until 1994. And then the state shut it down afterwards. I guess there was not a lot of revenue coming in, and they closed it. But there's a lot to see here. There's also a lot of secrets as well. I'll be taking you guys to some caves that are in the woods that around here that a lot of people might not know about. And there's some abandoned mystery buildings as well. There was rumors of bootlegging and secret tunnels, World War II installations, so there's a lot to check out over here. I'm gonna bring you guys through the old amusement park first. We'll learn more about the rides together, and I hope you guys enjoy this. There's gonna be a lot of beautiful views coming up. This is right on the Narragansett Bay, so enjoy. Okay guys, so I said it's on Narragansett Bay. That's the bay right there, up ahead at the end of this road. Again, this is the main road that the park goers would walk down to enter the park. So imagine being a little kid in the 70s or 80s. There's probably still a lot of people alive now that were kids back then that remember coming here. Imagine it being full of life. You know, people running around with cotton candy, and there's rides going, clowns and stuff. So yeah, that's the Narragansett Bay right there. And there's the Ark. We're going to learn more about that together. That, I guess, was a display tower where they would show the time and, I guess, the temperature and other kinds of stuff. So let's check out everything. So first on the list of abandoned stuff to explore in this park is the old Saltwater Pool. This was a pool that was built in the early 1930s, and as you can see here, it's been filled in, but the tiles from the pool grounds are still here. It's that concrete looking tile that they used to have all around the public pools. You can still see where the bleachers were. So I guess that the pool was salt water. They would pump it in from the bay, which is right over there. And, you know, this was like the big hub for people to swim in the, you know, 1930s, days of the summers back then. But apparently it was destroyed by a hurricane in 1938. And they did rebuild another one at the same spot. But, you know, didn't last very long, it looks like, because they refilled it back up, and obviously all that's left today are these cement bricks, you know, the old bleacher foundation, it looks like. And then the pool was right here. So this is crazy to think about. Imagine being a kid in the 30s, you're running on these cement tiles with their wet feet, and then you decide to just jump right into this pool right here, which is now filled in. So right now we're gonna make our way towards the Ark, which is up ahead over here. This was like the central hub for everybody in the park to gather, I guess, and meet after the rides. So this is not what it has always looked like. There used to be a big, I guess, lit up screen, and not an LED screen like we have today. It used old individual light bulbs. Let's see if there's a picture of it here. I don't have a picture of what it used to look like, but yeah, it would have weather forecasts, traffic conditions, public service announcements, sports results. So this was kind of a large sign, basically like an early smartphone maybe, where everybody could see all the information on what was going on in the area. So looks like it was put here in the 60s. It was given by the New York World's Fair. Cool. So you can imagine coming over here after a long day of riding these rides and meeting your family again. This is back in the days when things were safe and you were a little kid. You can just run around without any worry. Maybe one day those days will come back. So we're going to continue up. This looks like it was still more of the old roadway that people would walk up to go on the rides. This actually could be a line or an area that the people would wait to get to this ride up here called the Skyline, which we'll go check out. This was one of those old rides, I guess, kind of like a ski lift. It would bring you up past the rocky cliffs that are in the woods over here, where the name Rocky Point came from. But right now, let's go check out this ride. You can see where people would wait to get on and off. Let's explore the sign. You can see the old ruins, the foundations of where the cables would take the little carts up the hill over there. And I guess they would go around. It was just like a ski lift. Here you go. Wow. And this is what it used to look like. So this is called the Skyliner. It says kids would, yep, jump off the top and explore the nearby cave. Yeah. So we're gonna go over there. Let's go up and check out the ruins of the ride and see what that's looking like as well. So this is the actual area of the ride where people would get on and off. You can see all the old ruins are still here of the steel beams. Looks like there's the electronics up there. So yeah, imagine hopping to get on the ride. I don't think there's any seats left anywhere. We can go check out the woods and see what else is in there. But in the woods over there is also remnants of the old roller coaster tracks as well, so we're gonna check that out. It's just crazy to think about how everything's overgrown and full of graffiti now, where before it was so full of life and in operation. Not the board game. So right now I'm in front of the site of the old House of Horrors. This was a horror ride, I guess, kind of like a haunted house that the kids would go on, and people would dress up and scare them, and they would have animatronics and stuff. It's pretty destroyed today. This is what it used to look like. But nowadays, all that's really left is this foundation of it. But it's still cool to see that you would come up here. You know, you would give the guy your ticket or your dollar or whatever to get on the ride, and you walk up these abandoned steps. And I guess the haunted house was up on top of the hill over here. As you can see, there is nothing remaining. But the stairs are a little cool memory. There's a trail right here we can hike up, and we can get to the top, and there's going to be amazing views of Narragansett Bay. So let's check out what's up here as we climb up. It's got like a little mini mountain vibe over here. Who would have thought there would be a mountain in Rocky Point? Okay, so continuing to climb. The hill's not done yet. Keep going higher. Okay. I believe we are now at the top. So let's check out the view. Wonderful. Look at what you can see. Yes, so this is a hidden treat of this park. If you are willing to climb up to the top of this hill, which is really not that bad at all, you get to see this beautiful view of nearly the entire Narragansett Bay. Wow. Incredible. Alright guys, so right now we're going to continue on this hill over here. There's still a lot more to see. As you can see over here, we got a good view of the other part of the bay. This is a view of where the old, I guess like shore house, or there was a dinner hall over here that they have since changed to a pier. They built a new pier over there, which we'll go walk out on. Look at that, it looks like an oil rig or something. Yeah, so there's another good view of the park. And as we continue in, we're gonna check out the abandoned, it's either a water tower or a watchtower. They don't know what it was, but we'll go check that out. There's the foundation still there. And if you can see way far out, the Mount Hope Bridge is actually over those hills over there. Alright, walking further into this wooded area. Now I don't know if back in the day the people who were visiting the park could have gone into these trails. There's really no rides here, and there's actually an abandoned building which I don't think was linked to the park itself. I used to think it was the old haunted house, but we actually walked past that already, and that does not exist anymore besides those steps. This is something else. This is online it said it was an old water tower. It could have been a watchtower as well. I don't think it was a lighthouse though, because I think there'd be more remnants. I've heard rumors of some World War II connections. This could have been some kind of a bunker, but the park would have already been in commission during World War II, so I don't think that's true. Yeah, look at this graffiti in here though. It's actually really impressive, I think. You know, I think some graffiti can be impressive art. I mean, this is all done by spray paint. That's pretty crazy. Obviously it's going to piss a lot of people off because it's not their property. I don't think you should just go around spray painting people's property, but you know, like some of this stuff is garbage. But I gotta say that, you know, I appreciate art, and the shark and that witch wizard guy is pretty cool looking artwork, so. So this is pretty interesting. This is actually the site of the first phone call ever made by a president. I did not know this, but Alexander Graham Bell, the person who invented the telephone, was in Providence, Rhode Island. And the president at the time, who was Rutherford B. Hayes, apparently made a phone call from here at this spot to Alexander Graham Bell in Providence. Who would have known how much history this state has? That's crazy that the person who invented the telephone was here. Not at this spot, he was in Providence, but the president of the time was also here, which was pretty crazy. And this is the first phone call they ever did to test the telephone out. So yeah, this is actually a very historical spot. and it has a lot of significance. So we're about to go on the pier. Looks like they had a few different piers that was built here through the 1800s through the 1960s. A few years ago they rebuilt a brand new one. So let's go walk down all the way and see what the view's like over there. So right now I'm at the end of the first little beach at Rocky Point. I hiked down the rocks and I'm going to go back up to the main trail and continue on. There's still a lot more left to see, so let's go. Alright, so I mentioned earlier there was a dining hall over here. So it looks like it was the shore diner hall. That guy William Winslow that I had explained earlier, he had opened this as a resort for the elite to come and vacation during the summer. So yeah, that was at this spot and it would overlook that view. So right now we are heading towards the actual area that they call Rocky Point, apparently. It's a cliff area that overlooks the Narragansett Bay. It's kind of similar to Beaver Tail or the Cliff Walk in Newport. It's smaller, but it is fun to scramble on the rocks and climb. So we're gonna do a full hike on the entire Rocky Point coast on the cliffs. We're gonna see what kind of views we get, and we're gonna get a little bit of exercise in the meantime. All right, let's go. So at the end of this beach over here, there's actually a little sandy cove that we can lay at for a bit. And it's good to take your family, your dogs, whatever you want to take. But it's a nice spot, so let's go check it out. At the end of the rocky trail, you're gonna get this nice hidden beach area. And yeah, it's a nice spot to spend a lazy afternoon or go swimming if you don't feel like going all the way down to the end of the state. You got this nice halfway point. So yeah, soak it in for a bit. Sandy views, serene atmosphere. Very nice. So moving further up the coast away from the beach, there's the site of the old Rocky Point Cottages. This is where the people who would vacation over here would stay. And yeah, it looks like they started to be built in the 1800s. And they've since been demolished since the park was decommissioned. So this is all that's left, is just an empty field. Imagine that, when you know one day your house could become an empty field as well. All right, so this is the site of the Rocky Point baseball field. Apparently looks like Babe Ruth played for Providence against the Chicago Cubs in 1914 here. So pretty interesting. The field's obviously overgrown now, but it's still a cool piece of history. So this is where you would walk through and play baseball on the field back in the early 1900s, right here by the coast. Alright, so right now I'm approaching the site of the old circle swing. This is one of those famous swings that you sit on and the chain swings you all around in the air, and it's pretty dangerous, but you know, people would do it anyway. All the swings are gone, so nobody tries to swing on them anymore. But there's still a big old tower over here that could still be easily climbed by anybody who wanted to and fall off. But luckily there's a sign that says keep off, so nobody will ever try it. But it's a cool piece of history. Yeah. Just make sure you don't climb it. There's a ladder that you could easily climb and get all the way to the top and get a good view, but you know, can't do it because the sign says keep off. Very cool. Alright, so now we're going to head to my favorite part of the park, which is the caves and the rocky cliffs that are located in the woods behind the main park area. So there's the park over here. And I'm going to take you guys into the woods where there's some interesting rock formations and actually a pretty decent sized cave for the area. So let's go inside and check it out. Alright, so earlier in the video I told you guys about the Skyline ride, which was the ski lift type ride that would take people up above the cliffs. Well, here we are. This is the cliff area, and these are the remnants of the ride right here. So over here you can see the foundations of the ride, the old steel pillars. You can see where the seats would take the people up here. Everything is very rusty now. There's the main trail of the park down there. And yeah, you could see how like kids would try to jump off or would jump off and go down and explore this area. So what the next plan is we're going to go hike down the cliff and into the caves. I'm going to show you guys down there. After that, we're going to go and follow the old roller coaster track and see where that leads us before meeting back at the Ark and wrapping up the experience. I'm going to strap the camera to my backpack and begin the descent down to the cave. All right, here we go. This is the area right here. These cliffs are actually really rocky. And there's the cave down there. Okay. All right, we're going to begin to make the descent down to the bottom. And I do got a flashlight, which is a good idea because even though it's a small cave and there is other openings besides this one we're going in, it could still get dark and you might want to see where you're going. So let's get down. All right. When you're going in a cave, always go feet first. Here we go. Okay, we're in the main portal. Going down, and there's the other big entrance down there, which we'll leave out of that one. It sounds good to me. There's this third entrance too, over here. Okay, so this is the cave right here. There's another small room up there, which I haven't been in yet because it's too much of a squeeze, but yeah, more cave stuff. And that's an exit. All right, look at this. You can have a little campfire in here if you want. And okay. Cool. So besides this big cave right here that we just came out of, there's a couple other cave-like formations around the area. This thing right here. This reminds me of the Devil's Den in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. They have very similar rock or talus cave formations like this. These aren't actual subterranean caves, like caverns like you would see down south, but more boulder caves formed by the rock. That's where we went in earlier down there. So here's something cool right here. I had mentioned before that this park was founded in 1847. Inside the cave there's an inscription here that says 1849. Not sure what this is. GHK H. Looks like a 9 or a D. It says 1849, so this will be only a few years after the park was created. Something else is down here too. It almost looks like runes. I'm hearing some legends that this place is haunted, or that it could have been used for bootlegging at some point. Looks like someone even put here, it looks like they call it like the Gouda Cave, it says. I'm not sure what it's called. But yeah, I'm hearing rumors of it being haunted, or there being a secret passageway somewhere to underground tunnels that go under the park. But I don't see any of that around here. But the inscription's pretty cool. It does look like there's more stuff that I can't quite make out, but the fact that you can clearly make out 1849, that's very cool. Someone was here at that time, well over 100 years ago, almost 200 years ago. Okay, now I'm gonna go over to this area. I found a trail that leads to, it looks like the old roller coaster. So you can see here the old roller coaster track in the woods. Very overgrown, but this would cut through. It looks like behind the park, past the cave area. There's like a little split. Imagine being this, you could be on a roller coaster as a little kid and seeing this. Look at this. This is an old roller coaster track, and it's gone over this little stream here. That's got some briar patches growing, so gotta be careful. I don't think anybody's been on these steps in a while. And it feels a little shaky, but I'm gonna do it. That's the whole point of exploring, right? Okay. So wow, the roller coaster looks like it would cut through that area. I really wonder how fast it would go and what the safety of it was. I'm gonna try to get as far in as I can, but it does look like it's getting a little bit too thick. I'd like to know where it ended up. Looks like I can see a bit more in there. Let's see. Alright, unfortunately it does look like that it's fully overgrown past this point, but I believe that it would circle around the entire outer rim of the park. It's just getting too swampy over here and very overgrown to continue. But that's pretty interesting that we got this far in. I mean, look at this. Wow. Well guys, that's pretty much it. I took you around the entire park. We did the arch, which I'm behind. We hiked all the trails. We did the cliffside, the caves. I took you on all the old rides and the roller coaster. So there's a lot to see here. This took me a few hours to go through everything, and I hope that you guys come check this place out and enjoy the history behind it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.